Thank you. Mr. Condren, Mr. Chambers, Father Aarons, Father Parrish, Mr. Nurbon, members of the faculty, parents, grandparents, relatives, and friends, and to the class of 2025. Can you notice? Today's forecast, when I saw what was coming up here, reminded me of a day 30 years ago. I was going to a friend's wedding. It was in Syracuse, New York, and the temperature was for 95-degree temperatures, high humidity. We were going to be in a cathedral in Syracuse, and there was no air conditioning, and there were no fans in there. And I heard the groomsman next to me. I was the groomsman in the wedding, and the groomsman next to me said, "Can you notice?" So I looked right ahead, and I looked at the bride and groom. I looked at the service that was going on. It was great. And I heard it again, "Can you notice?" And I turned to look at the groomsman next to me, and it looked like he had just walked out of a shower. His hair was soaking wet, face was dripping, shirt was there. But the most amazing thing was he had, in his tuxedo, beads of sweat on the outside of the tuxedo. He was sweating more. So we're not quite there. We're not quite there, and I hope to not get there. It won't be too long to get there. But what I realized is, as I was thinking about that day and thinking about that time, that question, can you notice? It resonates so well with our theme of witness for this year. And as I said, I was focused on what was in front of me. There was something beautiful going on in front of me. It was the wedding. It was another friend who was getting there, and beautiful things were straight ahead. But it was turning to my left and seeing my good friend that gave me the biggest smile of my life. And that was one of those things that I want you to do today as well. I want you to be a witness to the good. I urge you to do that in my opening remarks. But today is a day to look back. It's a day to look ahead, but be sure to look to your left and to your right and in front and in back. And those guys who have been so much to you, and your mentors in the faculty and your family and your friends that are here, be sure not to miss out on all of that. And those are the places when I wanted to come up here to discuss today and deliver my address, I knew where to look as well. And I looked to your left and to your right and to there. I looked to your chapel speeches. I went back. And I can tell you that back on September 23rd, when I delivered, it was the first day of senior chapel speeches. That was a big day for me. I was very nervous. I'm like, how am I going to get up there and go? And Reese came up to give his chapel speech, and it was on truth. And then Paul followed up, and it was on reason. And then Peter started going, and I'm like, come on, Peter, give me faith, give me faith. And sure enough, he delivered. And so it was on the very first chapel, it was truth and faith and reason that evokes the first sentence of our mission statement. A Catholic independent school, St. Sebastian seeks to engage young men in the pursuit of truth through faith and reason. We were off to a great start, and I knew that you guys had my back. And there were so many great speeches this year, and there was such a selection. Last night we gave out more chapel speech awards to the senior class than we ever did. We gave 4, but I think we could have given 40. Liam mentioned it in his speech. You guys went above and beyond. You wanted to deliver. You wanted to stand up there and deliver. And so here are just a few of the themes that you came throughout the year. Not surprisingly, the one that stands out first is family. And really, it was a lot of different looks at family. Brotherhood is a word we mention a lot. Carson, I think, gave us one of the best thoughts about brotherhood. He talked about his older brother that he loved so much, he respected, and he admired him. But he realized that he wasn't going to be him, and it was important not to be his brother. And that by being himself, that was going to make his brotherhood stronger. And so you guys look around, you guys have all really become your own individuals, and you have made your brotherhood stronger from that. Chris Lynch and Luke Olivier celebrated their sisters. So many of you celebrated your grandparents. Even more celebrated your mothers and your fathers. Some of those days we had that grace when a morning like when Finn Straub went up to celebrate his mom, and that was followed by Crosby Thurman going up to celebrate his dad and do the honor for his dad. Many of you shared lessons that your parents had shared with you. Connor, Cole, and Nick shared some wonderful lessons. Ace, when you went up there, you gave a beautiful speech about how your parents trusted you, or how you had always trusted your parents, and then you realized that the trust came back to you as well, and the parents trusted you. It was a wonderful thing. Throughout all of those speeches, there were so many mentions, so many words of gratitude. to your families, to your mentors, to your coaches. The tributes to Sandra McKee were wonderful. She got from the students like Manny, who talked about the way she worked with them in class, to one of the most beautiful chapel speeches when Teddy celebrated her as such a loving mother. Mr. Mack, Mr. Adams, Mr. Lynch, Mrs. Joyce, so many colleagues were mentioned during this time, and just an incredible group of faculty over here. I'm so proud to work with you. Thank you for inspiring the class of 2025. Can we hear it for the faculty today? There was one chapel speech that started, "Imagine being hit by a poison dart." All right, that was that one. I didn't know where that one was going to go, but it was similar to my theme today, which was to make sure that you're not focused on the wrong things. In an important situation, don't focus on the wrong things. Kevin, thank you for giving us that one. Brendan Keaveney, Brian Keene, they both gave speeches about perspective and focus. And this class kept its focus and kept its perspective on what was important. And again, another theme that came through so loud and so clear from this class was that theme of faith. Peter, in that speech on faith that you gave, you said faith is fundamental to a true brotherhood, and faith is fundamental to a strong family. John Stenberg shared his witness about how he allowed reason to be part of his faith journey. And Lucas Cox went up there and talked about his faith journey and said, "This is just the beginning. I'm on the beginning of my faith journey," as we are there. And the other things that you shared with us is you shared your humanity. You guys came up and you shared your humility, your vulnerability, and the resilience that you had through your struggles. Bobby Keller, Stephen Hetrick, Joe Maxwell, you guys talked about fears, injuries, uncertainties. They were deep reflections. They were personal. They really hit home. I think when Lewis went up and he shared about how he felt broken, and he used that word, feeling broken, I think we all felt that very deep in the pits of our stomachs. But he talked about having mentors such as Dr. Ed Zadravec and Mr. Riemann, so that he was able to dig himself out and to be here today and to be awarded so well today. The last speech of the year was Daniel Yang. And it was the end. You guys weren't even in classes. It was pretty much everything was done. And he didn't mail it in. He decided he was going to deliver just the way all of you delivered today. And he gave a beautiful tribute to his grandmother, but a deep reflection about a phone call that he didn't take just before she passed away. And he urged all of us to make sure that we hear that call and to make sure that we take that call, particularly from those who mean so much to us. And Daniel, I said it that day. I say it again today. I know your grandmother is here with us, and I know she's so proud of you. And I know beyond a doubt that Regina Najarian and Lisa Ongritz are here with us today as well. You can feel their presence. They're two strong, beautiful women. You guys went to their services. You formed an honor guard for them before they were moved to their final resting place. Those two will always be a source of strength for this class. They've been a strength for me this week. I've walked down to the Harch car, to the oratory, down to the Stations of the Cross, and I stop particularly at the station where Jesus meets his mother. If there's times when you need strength or you need hope, I recommend you do the same. Or even if you don't need those, if you just need that special connection to the eternal, walk down, take that time, reflect, and be connected. It's a very special legacy for this class. One of many, many legacies that you'll leave. Several of you did talk about your own legacies. Lucas Candiato, Liam Kunjak, Declan Carroll. You want to talk about your family history and about what you loved. This is another thought on history, on legacy. A little bit of marching orders for you. The members of this graduating class have within them the developed instincts of character, virtue, and knowledge, which will enable them to meet the grave responsibilities and dangers of our world with credit and honor. And those words were delivered 80 years ago, 1945, at the first baccalaureate in St. Sebastian's history. That was by Headmaster Charlie McGinnis. He was commenting on Cardinal O'Connell's vision of what St. Sebastian's could be. World War II had just come to an end, but the world was filled with uncertainty. And he was saying for the graduates to meet their future, to meet what was ahead of them, they needed character, virtue, and knowledge. You guys are connected to the legacy of that first class and for every class since, and you're connected to the arrows of the future. You're connected especially with some of the St. Sebastian's legends who are retiring this year, Mr. Chambers, Mr. Najigian, Mrs. Sanderson, and Mrs. Riley. But you're most connected with those to your left, to your right, in front and in back. You guys have been through an awful lot together. You have exceeded the expectations that were placed on you. Be proud of all that you've accomplished and embrace the responsibility that goes with it. Take St. Sebastian's with you on your journey. May the road rise to meet you, and may God's peace be with you on every step of the way. Thank you.